Secrets of Faith, a series based on Bible stories. Enjoy the story and support us by subscribing to the channel. Sodom and Gomorrah. In tumultuous times when the dust of war darkened the horizons and the roars of armies echoed in the valleys, the shadow of conflict spread over the land. Four powerful kings, with their legions and their lust for conquest, rose against five kings of the valley, unleashing a confrontation that shook the foundations of the region. Amraphel, the king of Shinar; Arioch, lord of Pontus; Chedorlaomer, sovereign of the Elamites; and Tidal, regent of the Goyim, marched with their armies towards the valley of Siddim, where the kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela were preparing to confront them in an epic battle. For 12 years they had been subjected to the will of Chedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they defied his oppressive yoke. The 14th year marked the beginning of the struggle, and the valiant kings of the valley rose in arms against their oppressors. The battlefield became a scene of chaos and desperation, with five kings facing off against four in a contest that threatened to engulf them all. However, victory was not destined for the brave defenders of the valley. Despite their courage and determination, they were overcome by the overwhelming force of the invaders. Sodom and Gomorrah, the jewels of the valley, fell under the weight of the conqueror, and their riches were plundered without mercy. Among the captives was Lot, the nephew of Abraham, who resided in Sodom. The news of his capture reached the ears of Abraham, known as the Hebrew, who did not hesitate to take action. Trusting in the loyalty of his men and divine providence, he gathered 318 warriors and embarked on a daring rescue mission. Following the trail of the captors, Abraham and his men pursued the enemy to the city of Dan, where they surprised them in the darkness of the night and defeated them with determination. The victory was not fleeting. The pursuit continued to Hobah, where they recovered the captives and all the booty that had been seized. Upon his triumphant return, Abraham was greeted with gratitude and praise by the kings of the valley. But before accepting any earthly reward, a mysterious figure named Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of the Most High God, approached with bread and wine to bless him. Recognizing the divine hand in his victory, Abraham gave him a tenth of all he had recovered as a gesture of gratitude and devotion. Although the king of Sodom offered to return the captives in exchange for the recovered wealth, he firmly and solemnly rejected his offer. Swearing before God, he refused to accept even a thread of what belonged to the king of Sodom, demonstrating his unwavering faith and commitment to divine justice. But the grim fate of Sodom and Gomorrah was written by the hands of their own people, God encountering Abraham, the man of faith, in the plains of Mamre. As the wind gently swayed the trees, the voice of the Most High resounded in the air.
The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous.
And under the orders of the Almighty, the messengers of heaven set out on their journey to the cities marked by the shadow of sin, while Abraham stood before the divine presence, his heart filled with questions.
Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?
Abraham asked boldly, challenging the designs of the Almighty. God, in his infinite mercy, heard Abraham's pleas and promised,
If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake.
With each word, Abraham dared to implore divine grace, lowering the number of righteous needed to save the city. 10, 20, 30, 40. God, in his infinite compassion, accepted each of Abraham's requests, promising mercy even for a handful of righteous. When the dialogue between man and the divine came to an end, God withdrew, leaving Abraham with the weight of responsibility and hope in his heart. With firm steps, Abraham returned home with concern, aware of the importance of his intercession, the divine grace he had obtained for the condemned cities, and the imminent destiny that was to come. In the dusty streets of Sodom, twilight slowly descended upon the people, weaving shadows into every corner. Lot patiently awaited at the entrance of the place when he spotted two strangers approaching. These turned out to be the angel messengers who had come to carry out the designs of the Almighty. Without hesitation, Lot rose and ran towards them, his heart beating with a mixture of fear and hospitality. With humility, he prostrated himself before the strangers, offering them refuge in his home.
They shall spend the night in my abode, wash their feet, rest, and continue their journey at dawn.
But the strangers declined his offer, choosing instead to spend the night in the square. However, Lot's persistence was relentless. With determination, he led them to his home and provided them with food and shelter. The darkness had not yet fully covered the sky when a multitude, representative of the darkness that had invaded Sodom, surrounded Lot's house. Young and old men, like hungry beasts, demanded the newcomers, with malicious intentions palpable in every word.
Where are the men who came to your house tonight? Send them out to us.
Lot, aware of the imminent danger, bravely stepped out to confront the enraged mob. With words of pleading, he tried to dissuade them from their wicked purpose.
I beg you, my brothers, do not commit such wickedness. Leave these men who have trusted in my hospitality alone.
But wickedness had infected the hearts of those men. They rejected Lot's offer and prepared to perpetrate a vile act against the strangers. They pushed Lot violently, threatening to unleash their fury upon him and break down the door separating them from their prey.
Get out of the way. You're a foreigner and you already want to act as a judge. Now we will treat you worse than them.
The two men, with a supernatural power that defied human logic, dragged Lot inside the house and sealed the door behind them. Outside, the darkness had turned into a cloak of chaos and confusion. A cry of terror and desperation rose from the crowd as sudden blindness fell upon the men, plunging them into eternal darkness. The mob, once full of malice, now writhed in the darkness, unable to find the way out they once knew. The two mysterious visitors turned to Lot with palpable urgency. With words laden with warning, they urged Lot to save his own before divine wrath was fully unleashed upon Sodom and Gomorrah.
We are about to destroy this city, for the outcry against them has grown great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it.
Lot, with a heavy heart, hastened to bring the news to his sons-in-law, but his warning was met with disbelief and ridicule. Unable to grasp the gravity of the situation, they remained in their folly as danger lurked around them. At dawn, the urgency became more pressing. The angels, impatient for Lot and his family's safety, urged them to quickly leave the city with the warning to never look back under any circumstances. However, fear and doubt clung to Lot, like a dark shadow resisting dispersal. Torn between obedience and the desire to protect his own, Lot sought an alternative, a hope of salvation that did not involve leaving behind everything he knew.
My lord, you have shown me great kindness and have been very good to me by sparing my life, but I cannot flee to the mountains. Disaster would overtake me and I would die. Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared.
With divine patience, the heavenly messenger acceded to his plea, promising him protection in a nearby small town called Zoar, where Lot would find temporary refuge while destruction loomed over Sodom and Gomorrah. The sun was beginning to rise on the horizon when Lot reached the gates of Zoar. Grateful for his salvation, Lot sought refuge in the relative safety of the small town, unaware of the catastrophic fate about to unfold upon the cursed cities. Meanwhile, in the heights, God executed his judgment upon Sodom and Gomorrah. From the heavens, a rain of burning sulfur fell upon the wicked cities, consuming them in a fire that swept away everything in its path: men, women, children, and all forms of life. Amidst the destruction, Lot's wife, tempted to look back, became a pillar of salt, a silent witness to divine punishment and the consequence of disobedience. Abraham, from afar, watched with sorrow the tragedy unfolding in the valley. A thick smoke rose from the ruins, shrouding the wicked cities in a cloak of desolation and divine judgment. Meanwhile, Lot, fearful of remaining in Zoar, departed with his 2 daughters towards the mountains, seeking a safer refuge in a solitary cave. Caught between the horror of the past and the uncertainty of the future, Lot clung to the hope of a new life far from destruction and sin. Thank you for watching Secrets of Faith. If you enjoyed it, remember to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss the next episodes.